follow. So we usually get started about 2 minutes in because these are recorded live. These are not edited videos. This is your opportunity. If you hit the subscribe button, ring the bell. We do very much interactive community building. We're all one big Hedgehog Hollow family. Hopefully you can hear me. I won't know until anyone hops in. We're trying out the earbuds to try and get rid of that background noise we had once I flip the camera. So I'm going to load this up on my laptop so I can see. Wow. See everyone jumping in. Hey Denise, hey Lola, can you guys hear me? I put earbuds in to try and get rid of that background noise that we had. So let me know if you can hear me. Hey Mary, hey Renee, hey Deborah, welcome, welcome. So let me know in the comments if you can hear me, if you're here live. Hey Amy, perfect. Lola can hear me, so that's a good start. So yeah, we're going to try these and see if it fixes the problem when I switch the camera over because it had like a weird fuzzy noise. So we're going to try that out and see if that makes a difference as well. So let's see how that goes. And we've got some fun new things going on. I'm going to share with you as well. Hey Sandy, hey Elizabeth, welcome everyone tuning in. Happy Sunday. Hey Joe, hey Carol, Sheila's here. Everyone's joining us this afternoon. Yeah, it's afternoon. Yeah. So I've already been out, run errands. I'm going out for dinner with Maddie later. So busy day, but I wanted to hop in and we're going to be talking about ink blending. So I think it was Bo that asked me about doing blending backgrounds to go with our old silhouette steps. So we will go in there as well. So Melissa says audio is not so good for me. Renee says she can hear me. School here starts a week tomorrow. So week tomorrow, Tilly's going into 5th grade. She's actually starting in a new school, great move. I have mixed feelings over that, but we're not going to get into that here. So yeah, so she has a whole new school. Her school supplies are actually over there. We had to buy a new backpack from Stanley, all the cute stationery, obviously. Maybe I share some pictures on Instagram as well. So we can do that as well. She got some really pretty school supplies. Her request for this year was, it's not working. Lauren that said it was good. And I haven't changed the camera yet. Her theme this year was pastel and stitch. So Melissa and Mary are having issues, but others were saying the sound is fine. So drop a comment about the sound just before we dive in. We've got about another 30 seconds for everyone to hop on. So let me know if it's working for you. If not, I'll just take them out and we'll go back the other way. But I don't know how else to fix the HUD because there is no background noise. Like my fan isn't on, the AC isn't on, and it's fine on this camera. It's as soon as I show you my top down. So I don't know what's going on. So if you want to grab some supplies and craft along with me, I'm going to be using blending brushes, some of these, and probably some of our little mini ones too. And silhouette stamps if you have some. And I'm going to use our slimline white cardstock. Yeah, I'll go with that one this day.
Tell me if that's better without them. I wish I could do, the slimline is going to be, this one is 8.5 by 3.5. So this is our pre-cut white cardstock. Anyway, I took them out, so maybe that's better. Okay, much better. All right, so we're just gonna go like this. I have the microphone that Greg used to use, but I don't know how to do it. So I need a techie person to come and help me. Okay, so we're just going to go like this. The problem is when I switch the camera angles, it adds like a fuzziness, and I don't know what the problem is with that fuzziness. So I'm just going to have to figure this out as we go. Maybe I can order a little microphone on Amazon that pairs with my phone or something. I don't know. But we'll get there. Anyways, let's dive in. Oh, I had a guy come earlier to put shelves in the background. How nice would that be to have everything organized and not this mess that you see right now? So fingers crossed his quote is not too expensive. Actually, I think he sent it to me while I'm live with you guys. So I had a guy come out the other day, and the quote was insane. Like the amount of money he wanted, and it was just like slat wall and shelves. And I was like, oh my goodness. So who's ready to dive in? I want to see this so I can see it. Who's ready to dive in on this as well? So let's go. Let's go this way. You get to see me as a little girl. You got it. Okay. So here's my desktop right here. Hey Oreo. Oreo's come to craft with us as well. What's up, boo bear? Alright, so I'm going to use my slimline cardstock. You can use A2 if you want to, but these stamps were designed to work with slimline. So there's Dear to Me, I'm going to use as one of my favorites. And I also love the Savannah Skies. These are two of my absolute faves. And there was lots of them. Like, I just grabbed all of these. And I seem to have a duplicate of one of most. So I did listen. So there's Love in the Air. There was Double Toil and Trouble. Mingling Mingos was a fun one. Cabin in the Woods. Haunted House. Nutcracker. This was Grand Canyon. Lakeside Laws. Peaceful Pasture. Covered Bridge. I don't know what that one was called. Wildflowers, maybe? Howling at the Moon. This was a North Pole one. And in the end, we ended up making them in our white rubber. So, drinks on deck. So this is literally the end of them because there is no more white rubber. So what's listed there is the end of these. We used to have them on a subscription. I could bring them back, I guess, in photopolymer. And it was a really fun subscription. It was one of my favorites. And every month we would craft with them and do some fun stuff. So, Oreo, leave it to left. So I'm going to start off with Dear to Me. This was one of our first ever stamps, and I love this. So it came originally, the idea was you got a stamp and a stencil. Okay, so you could mask this out. You could also work with kaleidoscope powders. You could stamp it and then go after, but I like to blend my background and then just stamp it over the top. You can absolutely stamp first if you want to, but I just find I get a better image of doing it this way. If you want, you can use the stencil, but I just use the stencil more as a guide for what I'm trying to get. So you can see like this. So what I will do is take a pencil. There's nothing sharpened. There's a little school pencil. And a pen. So, what I'm going to do, you see how I'm just kind of like outlining here? All I'm doing that for is just to give me an idea of where my horizon is. So this is going to be more green, this is going to be more my sunset, okay? And you can also, we're going to add details afterwards too. So I want to make sure that this one has been prime time. I don't think it has, it's pretty new. So I'm going to just add some prime time so it's ready to go in a little bit. So prime time, and then I'm using my scrubby, And then I'm using, so you all know I've been using, I found one of my cloths. Well, I contacted the people who used to make my really nice cleaning cloths, and the cost to customize them was ridiculous. Like, your cleaning cloths have been $10. I was like, yeah, that's not happening. So I just ordered them plain, but they're the same ones we always used. But the fun part is now we have them in pink, we have them in black, and we have them in white. So these are the same cloths I was using yesterday to dab off some of that color when we were doing the watercolor stamping. They're a no shed, so they don't leave any like lint or anything on your stamps. They're available in the tools section on the website, which is, we did link it in the description below for you as well. Oh, I think this one had a manufacturing fault. That's probably why it was mine. What we're going to do today. All right, so we're just going to leave that. So nice and ready and primed, ready to go. All right. So here's my cardstock. So the first thing I want you to remember when you're doing this is that cardstock with ink blending really matters. So the cardstock that you use, you want it to have a nice smooth surface. We actually used to have something called Perfect Blend cardstock. I'm trying to get it back again, but the people who made it before don't exist anymore. But apparently someone bought a lot of their like formulations and things. So I'm working on getting that back. And that was a specially coated cardstock that really was designed to blend beautifully. But this one is our regular ultra smooth. It comes in 25 sheets. You can get 40 packs. You get 20 black, 20 white, or you can have it pre-cut. So you can have slimline size, or you can have A2 size as well. So all I did was take my pencil and just roughly put my horizon in, and it doesn't matter if it's slightly off. I like to blend this way. I'm a lefty, so I'm going to blend this way, and then I'll turn it again. I'm also going to grab some sticky paws. So if you've never used those, I know someone asked in the group about sticky paws. There's lots of ways to use them. Sometimes I'll use them like little palettes. Sometimes I'll use them to protect my cardstock and my fingers. So make sure I have some of those to hand. The other important thing you need to remember when ink blending is what ink you're using and what tools you're using. So to begin with, I'm going to start with my big ink blending brushes. I buy these on Amazon. I don't buy anything special, and these ones work really good. So I even have like really pretty ones like this as well. So that's what we're going to start with. And of course, we're going to use our Color Hive ink pads. We're going to start off with some Hyde Park. And then I think I'm going to go for Sunset. So I'm going to go in with, I think, some lemon. We're going to start with some lemon. So they're the two colors we're going to start with, and then we're going to start building it up. So you want to use ideally a dye-based ink. You can use pigment or an oxide. Now they're going to blend beautifully, but they're not really going to dry very well on you. You're going to have to heat dry them or something like that. Like I still have my Lisa Horton ones. I want to do a video on these at some point, sitting here. So you could absolutely blend with these. They're going to blend beautifully because of the pigment in them, but they're going to be a little bit harder to dry. These were designed to stay wetter a little bit longer for blending purposes. So that's where we're going to start. Okay. So I'm going to just, and the reason I do this is because my fingers end up inky. I don't know how, they just do. So I just grab a couple of these, pop them on my finger, and then I'm less likely to make a mess on my cardstock. Okay, so we're going to start off with an ink blending brush, and we're going to start from the side, and I'm just going to start blending roughly, and it's very rough, but up to that line. You see how I put that little swish line along here. And then I'm just kind of taking my brush, and you see how I'm just kind of following that little bit of a curve, just so I know that that's where we go. So I'm just trying to put my base color down first. And I like to try and just clean, so I don't want this green. I'm going to put my brush over here so I don't lose it. I don't want this green to go into my, what's it called, into my yellow. So I'm just going to grab some matte cleaner. And this is where I use my inky cloths. So I'm going to do the same thing with our lemon. And I haven't pre-wet my cardstock. I haven't done anything. I actually feel like I want to go a little bit darker than lemon. But I'm going to just start here. It's always easier to add colors and go darker. And the color hives are designed that you can layer this and make it darker and darker by adding layers of the same ink. Okay. So I'm actually going to go a little bit darker into more of Yellowstone, I think. And then with just that little bit of ink on the brush, I'm just going to go in this middle section. And it kind of looks similar on the screen. I noticed, like, because this is Hyde Park and this is Yellowstone, but actually in person this is much greenier and this is much yellower. It's kind of just tough to see. So now I have my base. I'm going to work on one side and then I'm going to go to the other. So now I'm going to bring in some English mustard, some red Leicester, and maybe even I'm trying to think. I don't know if I want to go as Coral Keysy. Maybe we'll add some Coral Keys. I don't know. I'm undecided on the Coral Keys right now. So again, just holding this down. And if you want to hold it in place, just grab a little bit of sticky grid and put like this much underneath and it'll hold your cardstock down while you're blending. So if you find that your cardstock moves a lot and you don't like that, just grab a little bit of sticky grid and use it like temporary tape. So here I'm taking some English mustard. Yeah, English mustard. And I'm using the same brush because I just wash my brushes and then ink them up each time. I don't have a dedicated one of these for each color. You absolutely could if you wanted to. And you see how I'm kind of working a little bit of an arch, and I'm also just working that ink down because I don't want like a really so that's my English mustard. Now I'm going to go for some red Leicester, and I'm going to start just on the corners and then just pull it down. And you see how I'm working in that arch even on my cardstock. So I'm giving it that really nice halo. And the other thing you can do while you're working, if you just want to kind of check your work, is you can grab your stencil and think, yeah, I kind of like where that's going. like, okay, I'm probably going to position my stamp somewhere around there. For me, I want to bring down a little bit more of this orange here in the middle, just so that I can see how that's going to apply. So you can kind of use it just to check your work. And I didn't add, I didn't add any more ink. I just worked with what's on my mat and what's on my brush. So there's my kind of like nice little hue coming down like that. And you know what, I'm going to just add a smidge of coral keys. So again, I'm going to work very much from the side. And this is kind of just going to add that little bit of, I don't want to say orangey, it's more like a pinky kind of orange. I feel like in that like fall afternoon where the deer's coming, and here I can kind of get an idea and kind of see where this is going by adding that stencil on there and just taking a look. So now we're going to work on the other side. So I'm going to clean up my yellows because I don't want to make mud. And I try to keep my colors kind of, I'm going to go more Everglades and British Racing Green. Palm trees are very bright green. It's not kind of the vibe I want to put into this one. So let's do that. A little matte clean. So I'll tell you the story. I was pouring some resin last night. I was working on a project of mine. And anyway, I was doing that and I actually spilt some resin and I didn't realize till this morning. It was still a little bit soft and it was on a paper, but it had soaked through. And I ripped the paper off, of course it stuck to my surface. It was on my nice wood thing behind me. And then I just grabbed some matte cleaner and sprayed it and it took it straight off. So as I say, it's all natural what's in there. So it's amazing that does that. So this was just my green. That's definitely my yellow, so I'm going to stick that in with my yellows for a second. I think this is my green. So now I'm going to do the same, just with my British Racing Green. So again, I'm blending on the matte first. And I know I have a fair amount of room before I get to where I want it to be. And you see how I'm just blending a little bit into the skyline, not because I want to create mud or anything like that, but I want that hue to kind of feel like it's in a forest. It's not like this distinct line. There's like a little bit of overlap between the two. And if you're over coloring and you don't like how realistic something looks and you're doing a flower, add yellow in there. And like if you're Copic coloring, add a layer of yellow. You'll find it makes a big difference. And you've got lots of ink in your mat, so don't forget to like scoop that up and go in with it. So again, we'll kind of check my work a little bit. And you can see what I mean about having those hues in between. So I do want to go a little bit darker down the bottom here. And also, this is the nice thing about the sticky pours, is you see how none of the ink's transferring. Like normally I'd have fingerprints all over my orange, and I don't have any of that. So just to kind of add that little bit of intensity, I'm going to add just a little bit of Everglades. Again, working on here, and then bringing it in. So now you can kind of see, and this is where you can adjust where you want your stamp to be. So now you can see where this is going to start to kind of end up landing. And once we're done, we can go in and we can add more details and colors and all that kind of stuff. But for now, I'm kind of happy where it is. The only thing I want to do before we go too far, I'm going to stick some more greens. I take off my sticky paws for now, and I'm going to grab my little spritzer bottle that we used yesterday. Actually, let's just clean our surface. I like to clean my surface as I go, just because I don't want to spread these colors, because I don't want green in the orange and orange in the green, and it's just not going to be fun. I'm going to add just a little bit of texture by spraying some and you see how maybe it looks like I'm holding it kind of weird, but if I do it like that, you see how I can get these really cool drips, or if I go from a distance, I can get more of a mist. And I want texture in this. I don't want this to be like plain, and if you want to, you can pick up some of that on there. I'm going to give this a quick blast with the heat gun. Back to flash your eye. Hey, babe. So you can see all the textures. So these are designed to be really reactive if you want to add water and have fun with them as well. So you can add all that kind of texture. Now we're going to go in here. And we're going to add our stamp. There we go. So I'm going to pick it to go more towards the top. And this is the great thing, is you can kind of pick your favorite bits. I'm going to go like this. So I'm going to pick this up, and the one thing I'm going to say is you probably are going to want to ink it a couple of times. So make sure you've got your smusher to hand, and we're going to use our Remarkable Black. Oh, big one, I think I might need a re-ink with this one. It might be good for the base. I can't wait for the re-inkers to come. Yeah, it's a little bit dry, so I'm going to just go in with a minute. So you want a nice strong black ink, archival, remarkable, something along those lines. As I say, you're probably going to want to stamp it a couple of times to get a nice solid impression. If your Remarkable was well inked and brand new, you probably could get away with maybe once. Oh, I want you to move. Right, so I'm going to do it a second time. Even I've run out of Remarkable re-inkers, so I'm just making it work. And I really don't want to keep opening them. So I'm like trying to get the last out of them. If not, I'm going to go in with a little bit of archival just to top it up so we get our re-inkers. Everyone's so quiet today. Is everyone like ink blending with me or something? Or I have some archival black here. I'm going to just top it up some. I think all my ink pads, because I haven't used them in about 3 years, they just all need a little bit of love and TLC. It's like I'm going here with this black. I have a feeling this is going to have the same problem. Everything just seems really dry. Yeah. See, I have another remarkable here. Maybe this one's juicy. I opened two, but I've been doing a lot of stamping. I've been working on all these projects that you guys haven't seen yet. Okay, let's hope that this works. Otherwise, I'm going to be showing you other ways I use these stamps. This does not want to work today. So, alright, if you have the problem I'm having, where none of your ink pads want to work, you can also go in and add some texture. So, we're going to make this work. I'm going to show you some workarounds. We're going to grab out our black colored pencils. I'm going to give this a quick blast with my heat gun. And like I said at the beginning, like these are not edited videos. Like things go wrong when I'm crafting too. And there's times when I would just throw things away. But there are also times when I know I can really turn this into something beautiful. So I'm just going to take my black colored pencil. And I have a pretty good idea of where the lines are going to be. And I'm going to make this super duper black. The other thing you could have done is gone over it with some clear ink. And you could have added embossing powder, but I actually kind of like how you could use a Copic too, but I like the softness of a colored pencil, but it still kind of has that opaque finish to it. And you can get, like, I think a more wispy, you see it's not particularly time consuming. So I do the edge and then I just scribble. And that waxiness will give it a different kind of gloss and sheen. And I do the outline first and then we can go in with the details. You see how like solid it starts to become, and it's pretty quick too. Yeah, well, maybe in time we'll have more. I guess the dog's out next door. By the time I'm done, you'll never know that my ink pad was drying. And if you have a Sharpie, you could do it with Sharpie too, as I say. I just like the soft gloss of doing it with the color pencil, and you still get a little bit of this underneath texture, whereas if I was to do it with a Sharpie, it's very, very defined. And these are just cheap color pencils. I think these are Walmart color pencils that Tilly had for school last year. They just got thrown in my colored pencil thing. So you don't need anything expensive. They haven't got to be Prismacolors or something. Although I noticed that Walmart was selling Prismacolors in the school section this year. I was like, okay, I don't know what school insists they have those. But, Tilly's school insisted they had to have Crayola. So I'm going to do ink blend before I do my middle section. And if you like, I can show you the middle section with a Sharpie if you just want to see the difference between the two effects, between the edges and the centers, up to you. But let me know now what you think. And I like to colour, so this doesn't bother me to do this. In fact, it's kind of nice. It almost makes me think like, oh yeah, I kind of drew that. You see, I can kind of get wispy with the trees. So don't be afraid, even if you've stamped this with black and your stamp's out successfully, don't be afraid to go in with your coloured pencil and add some of those things in there as well. Oh no, you're good, Mary. Thank you, though. We have them ordered. They're supposed to dispatch on the 13th of August, I think was what they said to me. So as soon as that dispatches, I will let you guys know. Okay, so that's that. So I'm going to just fill in a little bit of my ink blending here. So I'm going to go in with some Cotswold, I think, and my little Dauber brush here. And I'm just going to make, that's a bit more than I wanted. And I'm kind of like, almost like scrubbing with the brush. Right, a little bit too much. Oreo Hollands. So again, just going in. And you kind of see how it adds a little bit more depth to that shadow. This wasn't ideal, but the other thing I can also do is I can just I'm always nervous doing it this way. Yeah. So we can always spritz and lift a little bit. And spritz. And I just want like lift it. Remember, I told you it's always ink that can, it's always reactive. So you see how I can lift that out, or lift that out, I should say, just a little bit. So there's my Cotswold. Now I think I'm going to do some coral keys. Oreo, enough. Thank you. I'm just kind of pull in some of that. So I want it to like look that moody kind of color to it. So you see how this is kind of coming together. Now, do you want me to, so that's what I'm saying, was the colored pencil gives you more of like a glossy, it's opaque, but not too opaque. So I'm going to use a Sharpie. I'll just show you. I was going to say, do you want me to use a Sharpie in the middle to show you the difference? It's just a different effect you can use. I like that, like, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but in person, it has like a really nice sheen to this. So it's like using a, just to give you a different effect. But if you wanted to, I think I have a black Sharpie here. I don't have a fine tip. I'm going to just, so it's going to give me And if you have a fine tip Sharpie, you might want to use that. But you see, see how much more aggressive that is compared to this? I just like that wispier look. I'm trying to fade these two together. I just have to do the headline sharpening. So you kind of see the difference. And the Copic would be the same. I just know Copic black is dry. I tried it the other night. You notice I'm also holding my pen very upright. If you don't have a fine tip Sharpie, you can turn your chunkier tips. Same with Copic, same with any marker you've got. The more upright you hold it, the more fine it becomes. So you can see like I can get some really kind of like fine details in there as well. Dark green ink. It doesn't have to be black, it can be any color. We can try it on the elephants if you want. We can do some different colors. Mine is just, my pads are a little bit dried out because they haven't been used and they sat in a very hot garage, my own personal pads. So they'll just need a little bit of TLC. And they're also getting a lot of use right now because I've been trying out products and techniques and getting things ready for the holidays. You know, we all love to make our Christmas cards or Hanukkah cards or whatever we celebrate. And it's not necessarily a time-consuming process, but you know, I blended this background, and it's not ideal. I don't want my ink pad to run out on me. But if you've blended a beautiful background and it goes wrong, here's a way you can fix it. As I say, you could also have just switched, you know, cleaned the stamp, switched to clear, and used an embossing powder. That would have been an option too. So just make sure you have a super juicy pad to stamp these silhouettes with. These are stamps I'd really like to bring back, more of like the silhouettes again. I love these. And they're so effective. And if you have a well-inked pad, they're really easy to use. But also, I like to show you like, okay, things go wrong for me too, this is how I fix it. So hopefully you find that part useful too. Actually, I want to know, in the comments, let me know. Out of interest, if this had happened to you, would you have trashed the panel? Or would you have done something with it? I'd love to know. You also can take these, even if you don't want to blend the background, you could do some of those watercolor techniques I showed you yesterday on the stamp, because you've got those really nice solid areas. You could most definitely do the same kind of thing, and you can actually watercolor the stamp itself. You can play with that on the elephants maybe in a second. And the thing with trees is just kind of do scribbles, because no one really knows where the edge of that tree or that stump was. Just keep the edges nice and fine, nice and wispy. You can see I'm really not going in anything too deep. There you go. Fixed. I actually really like how it looks. It's super easy. Like if it goes wrong, don't worry about it. So here is where you can really see the difference. So you see how this gives you more of the gloss, whereas the Sharpie really kind of makes it firm. I feel like now I kind of committed to the Sharpie effect, honestly. The ink blending was kind of the idea, and then I messed up. But you can see there, I faded it out a little bit better, so you can see kind of the difference it gets between the two things. So there. Sandy says, if I really like my background, I probably would have embossed it, otherwise I would have tossed it. Well, hopefully this gives you another idea that if it goes wrong, grab out one of your markers and just go over it. You could even, you know, now like take a shape die and you could spotlight a piece. I've done it where I've done this and then done a piece in black and white, or like taken the deer and stamped it out again and done it on like a nighttime and then replaced it. So you can like spotlight areas, switch things in and out, all kinds of different things you can do. But I love this panel. This will be in someone's order. So all of these panels I make in the lives, I go over to the box where I pack my orders and I put these into orders. So someone will get this and you can take a look at it and do whatever you want with it. So that's one way that you can do it. As I say, the spotlight idea is really cool too. So you just take your circle die, cut this out, cut out the same on another panel and color the panel slightly differently. Maybe you want to do monochrome, maybe you do nighttime. You also could go in and add some stars and some splatters. You know, my favorite way is to stamp the splatter. So you can take, oh my god, I love my wheelie chair. I'm so happy to have it back. Oh, that's a good idea. Renee says she uses it for sympathy cards. So this is from the October kit. I'm going to take my little splatter and say, for instance, the night sky. Take your snow flurries. I don't think I've used my snow flurries yet. If you want to, you can protect it with the stencil, but I usually don't bother. And you can just kind of add in texture. I don't know, I've been in like this real texture mood. I've been adding splatters and textures to everything. So let's go do it. Let's wipe that off. I'm obsessed with having pink cleaning cloth now. There's a pink, a black, and a white, but the pink is like my favorite. And it's in the tools section if you're looking for it. Okay. So that's one way you can do it. So ink blending, the important thing is what brushes you use, what paper you use, and what ink you use. So as long as you pick things that work together well, the ink blending is super, super easy. And I like to work on a glass mat. I'd actually developed a glass magnetic mat and it had all of our scorings and everything in it. I noticed someone did a mat like that, but the only downside is they're super expensive, but you only need one surface, which is really nice. And then you can see now, it's really cool. So that's one option and one way you can use the silhouette stamps. So that was where this one goes. I'll clean this off for a quick second. And you really must prime time these, because if you don't prime time them, it's a nightmare. And here's the thing, I don't want to make my pink one black yet, because it's new. Yeah, I'm more of a colour pencil girl, but I kind of just wanted to show the options. Look how good this is at taking off the black. Even it's got archival on it, and you see how good it is at taking off the archival. And it has a stamp conditioner in it too. Although I have a ink refresher coming out, kind of like the distress refresher, but you can use on any dye ink pad, and it also conditions your stamps. You can use it on your stamps. It's the same process. It doesn't do your stamps any harm, so all of that will be coming out too. Oh, our little squid buddy. We have squid buddies coming. They're not going to be pink anymore. There's a new color coming. Tilly picked the color, so if you don't like the new buddies, what did I put in? So this is what it's like, this little tentacle. There's a sponge inside, and then it has bigger tentacles on the bottom. But I like making fun of feelings of 5. I don't think feelings of 5 should have to be boring. So that's that one. So let's just play around with another silhouette for a second. And we're going to do this as a watercolor technique. So this is like I showed you yesterday. Hey, Polly. I'm glad it's sunny there. Oh, it's miserable here. I got soaked. I went to Home Depot earlier to grab some stuff, and I got soaked. It's still kind of meh outside. So this is Savannah Skies. Oh, this one is a good prime too. So let's prime this one up. So Crystal, I just started using watercolor pencils. Really enjoy it. Give me more control over a brush. I always love your watercolor stamps. Oh, thank you. So again, your ink choice is going to matter when it comes to doing watercolor stamping. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. You want to make sure you're using water activated inks. I actually really love this. This is like off to the side. I need to make Dr. Blush a birthday card for September. And I have to send it soon, so I don't think it's here anymore, so we can talk about it. I won't tell you what his gift is, because I know he's going to be here. If we do a Zoom, I'll show you his gift. Water tension sucks. And you see, like, it just doesn't leave any lint. That's what I hate. I don't like the chamois. I always find they used to rip on me, but I like using the cloths because they don't rip and they don't lose lint. Oh, I'm glad, Polly. That's exactly the idea. It's just to kind of give you different ideas and whatnot. So I'm going to move this up. And I can't wait to get my craft room set up and be able to do like spotlight die cutting and have cameras and be able to do all the things that we can play around with all this stuff. But for now, we're making it work. This is like us making it work. Do I have the Halloween trick or treat? Trick or treat. I don't think I have that one. I have the Monster Bash. Yeah, they're lint free. So they're a lint free microfiber. They don't drop any lint out. You saw I just like scrubbed this and there was nothing. Like I can really like go for it. And there is nothing on my stamp. There's still liquid around from me spraying stuff everywhere. So they're all listed in the store. So I have made, if you go, I made collections. So all the cleaners and tools have a section. And it will get better and better over time. As you all know, I kind of made this and then the stamps also have their own collection. So if you look at the top, you can start by stamps. Oh, and for those who wanted the downloads, I'll show you, they're all here. And that's the stamps. So there's also this section. I'm going to put my laptop under here and hope you guys can see just a little bit like this. So if you go to shop by collection at the top here, and then just scroll down this downloads and resources, we've added some resources in. So you've got the color hive inks and rainbow audium download. This is a PDF, 30 ways to use kaleidoscope powders, and perfect layering guide as well. So you can download those. They're all just free downloads. Just add them to your cart checkout and that's it. Polly says, been cleaning my studio. I think we'll do some diamond art. Oh, Tilly just bought a diamond art. She's been doing that. So we're going to do this, and I'm going to layer up some colors. So I'm going to start with some Yellowstone. Okay. Now I'm going to add English mustard. Now I'm going to go in with some red luster. And what I'm going to do with the red luster is I'm going to take my blending brush and I'm going to fade it already because I don't want any of those harsh lines. I'm going to take my little mini brush, and then I'm also going to grab some telephone box. And I'm just using the edge of my Misty here as the palette. And you see I'm just pulling that color in a little bit. I think I'm going to grab some more red luster here. There's actually a lot of ink on the Misty, so I'm going to just use that. And I'm thinking about spotlighting the elephants a little bit. I haven't quite decided the how yet, but we'll figure that out. Hey Laurie! So underneath where they're tracking around, I'm just adding some of the red. Okay, now I'm going to give this a little spritz, just one on each end with some water, and I'm going to push it down. And you want to leave this down a little bit longer than average and really smush it. Really, really smush it. You see how that came out? I kind of feel like it's like the morning and the savannah, and it's just, oh, 4 ounce is this, Alyssa. So that's 4 ounce. I did a terrible job. What do I do? H2. What pens are there? So that's 4 ounce. Okay. I don't know what they used to be before. I think they were 4 ounce, and then you had an 8 ounce refill. So I love how this came out. I kind of want to do a little bit something on the backs of the elephants, but I'm going to do that with some telephone. No, it's not telephone, it's Independence, which is like our bright red. And if you struggle, like here, it's kind of hard to see. Just grab a piece of plain white cardstock. You're not going to get it dirty in any way, and put it underneath. And it's much easier for me to now kind of see where those areas are. So like here, I want to just on the back of the elephant. Same back of the baby elephant. This tree over by Mama kind of has a weird line in it. I think I'll just add a little red to try and take out whatever line is going on there. This side of the tree, makes a little texture. So now you can really just go in and add it wherever you want. Again, I'm going to do the same thing, spritz it with some water. And we're going to flip it over. I really hope. Just my mat had moved a little bit. So again, I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm just going to smush in those areas. And you see now, I'm going to pick it up. Just that little bit of like highlight that I added on there. And if you wanted to, you could go in with some lemon, or you know, something super light in the background if you wanted to, like fog. But just be careful. So they do come with stencils, so we could go in a second. Maybe we will. I want this to dry. I'm going to heat dry this and clean up. So let's do that, and then we'll see whether we want to like add in some extra stuff. So, good. Oh, I have one of the old bottles here. So this is the old bottle. Oh, the old one was only 2 ounces. So now you get double. So this is the old Mr. Perfect, and here's the new Inky Spritzer. So this is actually double the size. So you get double on these. Okay. Yeah. It's like, oh, hang on a minute. I have a whole collection of them in front of me. Sometimes I have a moment. Yes, you actually get double the amount in the cleaners now. I guess I didn't realize that. Okay, so before I even touch any of this, I want this to be super duper uber dry. So we're going to blast it with our heat gun real quick. think this heat gun's going to catch fire on me because I don't know where it came from or where it's been. Anyway, so what you can do is you can cover this up and you can go in with a color. I'm actually going to go with fog, and the only thing to do is I'm going to make sure that this is like super duper uber light. Even that's kind of darker than I want to focus on the edges. And I'm really just adding a hue. I just want like a little glow. And I'm more using this like a little mask. Now, if you did it, of course, with heat embossing, you wouldn't need to do this. This one is really so I'm not really adding much. I was worried it was going to go over the top, but it didn't. So that just kind of gives it. So rather than just looking plain, it just gives you that like little bit of a hue. And you could go in, like I say, if you're thinking, you know what, I don't like how something looks, yellow will always fix it. So if I take some lemon, I'm going to do a clean brush. Again, off to the side, just come in, and I'm going to go straight over the top because, you know, my base color here is yellow, so it can't really do it much harm. You see how suddenly that background just brightens up just by adding that yellow. And we have cool cloud stencils, you can add all sorts of things, but I just like, rather than it being plain, I just kind of like how that pops out. So yeah. So any, it's going to go in the lemon for now because I'm just blending it. And this can go in my fog for now. There we go. All right, so any other questions on ink blending for today? Happy to answer them. Especially, oh no, where is it? You know, the funny thing is I love tea, but I hate iced tea. There's something about it. The only thing I like in iced tea is a peach iced tea. That I do like. So, any other questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to know about ink blending? I'm going to just clean this off. This is just the stencil from Savannah Skies. I'm just cleaning it off. Ooh, there we go. Happy to answer them. Pop them in their comments. Let me know. There we go. Also, if you would like to see more silhouettes back, you can drop me a comment and let me know. Potentially we'll do something. I don't know. I'm still working on stuff right now. What else do we have going on? That's kind of it for today. Tomorrow, normally tomorrow we have skating, but skating is cancelled, so I don't know if we'll go live. Tilly will be here. I'm sure she'll want to go live and do something. New release stamp should be here, it says on Wednesday. So the plan will be to do a new release live party on Friday or Saturday. I will let you know during the week. But that will be the release. We'll play with the new things. We've got fall, Halloween, lift your spirits, all that stuff. It's due with me on Wednesday. So do the formulas for the Remarkable inks blend with the other? Yes, they do. The only thing is, like, the fog and the black is going to be a little bit thicker, and they're not as water reactive. But yes, that will work. The white is the only pigment we have, so again you would need to heat set that and embossing powder do something. But all the others are water reactive dye inks as well. Melissa said, oh, Melissa and Jen love the, so they are fun and they're a little bit different. No one else really seems to do like that. silhouette thing. I've also been getting myself into mixed media. I've been playing around. I posted this in our Facebook group. So I found, I'm a paper junkie. So I love papers and textures and learning about papers and how papers are made and how different papers do different things. And so anyway, I found this paper, one of my friends who works at the paper mill, and I made this. Look at all that texture it's got in it. Now this is actually pretty smooth, but it still kept all of that texture and everything in it. So all those kinds of things. And then I also made a pretty flower, but I lost it. So I've been playing around with some mixed media. So expect to see some more like mixed media stuff. We've got new tags coming. We've got all kinds of mixed media stuff coming in as well. So we'll be mixing it up a little bit. So yeah, so thank you so much for joining me today. I really do hope you found that useful. And if you need anything, you have my email addresses down below. Cloths and silhouettes that I have are in the store. And if not, I'll see you in a couple of days. Make sure you hit subscribe, ring the bell, all those kinds of things. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up as well. And I will see you very, very soon. Thanks for joining me. Bye.